I'm Ted Huffman. I'm the director of Les Mamelles de Tiresias. It's a surreal farce by Apollinaire and Poulenc, which Britain has adapted into a two-piano version. This version hasn't been seen since 1958, when it was on this very same stage, played by Britten himself and Violet Tunnard, who is the repetiteur for their process. It's clear to me why this piece appealed to Britain, because it goes after some of the norms of French society in the same way that Albert Herring goes after British society of the same period. And in fact, the two operas were written in the same year. This version is usually done with a rather large orchestra, and we've got two pianos, two fantastic pianists, and a cast of 12, which perform a whole variety of roles. So it's been a real treat as a director.
I'm Emily Hendricks. I'm the editor of this new edition of Les Mamelles de Tiresias. And I first became aware of this when I was doing research for my dissertation. I was reading in the catalog that there was a production from 1958 for two pianos. And in reading the Poulenc catalog, it said that the score was not located. And the Britten Peers Library was just beginning to have a real online archive. And I was looking and it said there was a box. So what I found was the Britten score with his pencil markings in it and Violet Tunnard's score with her pencil markings in it. So the thing that's extraordinary about this edition is that it is creating a new piece from these arrangements that Britten and Tunnard made and really recrafting the orchestration for two pianos. And there is a substantial amount of craft and work that goes into this, trying to be sure that what's on the page is representative not only of what they would have played, but how they would have played it.
Our approach has been very much to make it like an ensemble theater piece. So everyone plays a bunch of roles, and the stage picture is constantly changing, but not through sets, through action and movement.
Oh, what joy, what joy, what joy, the pleasures of paternity. 1,041 children and all...
My name is Zach Winokur, and I'm the associate director and choreographer for this show. One of our big conceptual ideas was to make this piece into a kind of MGM Hollywood movie musical, because the music lends itself to that kind of movement and dancing, and often in theater you really try and find the logic in the text and then build a structure based on that logic. But in this, there is no real logic, so you have to find a kind of bizarre inner logic for yourselves. And I think we really enjoy just popping these fish and bread and lots of babies and men getting pregnant into the show.
My name is Marcus Doshi, and I've designed the lighting for the show. One of the particular challenges of this venue is that the Jubilee Hall isn't set up, in fact, as a contemporary theater would be. It's a traditional old hemp house. But in the end, I think it works out very well for the design that we've tried to create. One of the interesting things about the music is how quickly it jumps between key changes and moods and tempos and that sort of thing. And our design has incorporated this in terms of the rhythmic elements.
I'm Malcolm Martineau.
And I'm Roger Vignoles. And it's a rare occasion on which the two of us actually get to perform on the same platform, or let alone in the same orchestra pit.
I think the arrangement works wonderfully, actually. We've been saying as we've been working through it, we're enjoying it more and more as we've developed, and we're finding the textures much more interesting. It's incredibly light for two pianos, because two pianos together can sound like two elephants very easily. we hopefully don't. But the writing is so clever, because it's mostly antiphonal. We don't actually play together very often. You know, once somebody's got the accompaniment, the other's got the tune, or the other way around.
The other thing that is very particular about it is that the way Poulenc writes, there's always a little bit of the cabaret, the cafe in the background, and the cooler, sharper texture of the piano, of the two pianos, helps to keep some bite in the situation, which of course also reflects the strangely surreal, satirical aspects of the production. You could say that Poulenc and Britten are the two great survivors of the 20th century, two composers who at the time were always patronized by the avant-garde and by the scholastic establishment, but whose songs have really stood the test of time and will go on doing so for centuries.
So here we are in Aix-en-Provence at the Théâtre de Bois de Boulogne, and we've been working for 2 weeks to put together this show of Les Mamelles de Tiresias. It's been slightly insane. 2 weeks is a very short time to put together a show like this, which has so many choreographic moments and 1,000 words, and it's been an adventure.
All in 60 minutes. We were really, really happy with the show that we made in Albra, and so we kept the skeleton, we kept the bones of it. But the way that we work is, we care a lot about the people in the room, and so we remade a lot of it with this new cast.
We want to keep it fresh for you. If we do the same old thing every day, it'd be really boring.
Get to your places in the bar.
We were able to improvise with them, and so especially some of the physical action is really tailored to these performers, which is great. When we were planning to do it both here and in Brussels, we knew that we would want 2 casts so that there would be some covers for the 2 main roles, because they're extremely demanding. And it was really just kind of by chance that we ended up with one couple that are both French speakers. So we call them the French cast, but they're French and Belgian. And then the other cast, which we call the English cast, is actually the American-Irish cast. So we tried to build these roles based on what they could do. The 2 shows feel very different with the 2 casts.
I'm Julie Mosset. I'm come from Belgium, from Liège. Thérèse doesn't want to be a woman anymore, and she cut off her breast and put a barb and moustache. I can feel la moustache, la barbe me pousse. So, and yeah, she's feeling stronger and like a man, and she likes it really well. There is a rhythm really strong, really. It's like, it's not like a normal opera production. It's like a dance troupe. It's like a musical, We always together, all the rehearsal together, a feeling really, we are together. So, but sometimes it's really hard because we move a lot. Every word is movement. This is interesting. Now, this time, it's really hard to be a singer, but this is really good. This is really like professional and in it,
I'm Timothy McDevitt. I'm from New York, and I'm singing Le Mari. My character is going about his daily business as husband and provider, and really in that role of man and that was so typical in that era. And he's immediately faced with a challenge that no man of that era ever had, in which his wife just announces that she's become a man and she's off to war. So he is forced to make do with what he has and creates babies and shows that he doesn't need woman. But in the end, we all learn that we need each other. And as resilient as he was, he goes back to his wife, and but with a newfound appreciation for her and all that she can do. It's been really incredible sharing our experiences. I think especially with Jean-Jacques and I both playing the same role, and he speaks about as much English as I speak French. So we've had a really interesting time creating this together. It's been really a treat and a big challenge to do this role in France, because not only is it a French text, but it's an obscure text. And also the music. It's a role that's played a lot of times by a baritone, a lot of times by a tenor. It's not really distinguished which Fach is supposed to sing it, because it's low, it's high, it's low, it's high, it's all over the map. And the role of the husband is the entire opera. He is on stage the entire time, singing the entire time. So it's a real tour de force.
I think it's nice to breathe together. Yeah. And that's... I'm Edwige. I'm going to play the piano for the concert, Les Mamelles, with Roger Vignol on Saturday. So what is very interesting to work on with this piece is to adapt the accompaniment with the two piano with the singers, because there is no conductor. So we have to accompany them, but to direct as well, to keep it very orchestral. And Roger is great for that. That's the most challenging, to be together as a two piano.
It needs to be much, much softer. Can you try the bouche fermée, actually bouche fermée? So it's, and when you're singing keep it really light.
Being a pianist somewhere and a singer somewhere, we need to come together, and that's what Enoa is doing, and I think it's really fabulous.
My name is Samuel Black, and I'm the designer setting costume on this production. I started working with Ted quite early on when we knew the space, so we went to Aldborough and just discussed, brainstormed a lot about where it could be set and how to solve these problems in Jubilee Hall. It's originally in the stage directions. It's set in the town square of Zanzibar. So we try to figure out a way of doing that, but in an ensemble way. And that's so eventually we ended up with a bar that had this movement to it. I tried to design a kit in a way, so it could develop in any way, and I had certain ideas. So we staged this here, and the hanging globes, which are part of the design as well, were also straight away, linked in with some specific scenes. We set it in the 40s, very much in grey, black and white grey tones. This is also to make an ensemble, to make a unified look, because they work as a unified organism. The success of the design is in the success of the performers using it, how they move it around. And the costumes work in the same way that they become one group of people moving it around. And then we can highlight people by making them lighter or adding some colors. A lot of them are found costumes, so the original vintage costumes. One of the aims we had was to have this glamorous feel to it. They're both sort of very nice places to work in, Aldborough and Aix. I'm looking forward to Brussels as well.
J'ai trouvé ça très très bien. Ouais. Aussi, je tiens à féliciter tous les musiciens, les chanteurs et les danseurs parce qu'ils ont fait vraiment un beau spectacle. C'est exceptionnel parce qu'un opéra, on n'a pas l'occasion d'en voir tout le temps et du coup, c'est bien.
There's only wonderful stuff to say about being in Aix-en-Provence, and it has been such a dreamy place to work, and plenty of good things to drink and eat. And this festival has an incredible spirit, where everyone really spends a lot of time together outside of rehearsal, and I think that only makes it more fun, and also led to a better show, than had we not had fun together too.
Here we are in this beautiful bar of La Monnaie. It's been an amazing week here that we've been rehearsing Mamelles, and it's been a real pleasure to be here. Their amazing technical crew that have really kept us going, and I think the show looks really great here, and we're very happy. It's a great room. I think every seat is good, so it does that thing that we wanted with making this very intimate experience.
I think because we love this show so much, and it is a really, really fun show, and it's something that we've wanted to kind of tackle for a while, as this like big kind of dance opera spectacular. And so I think we're interested in continuing to push it, and also 6 months since X or something, people forget things, and so we have to kind of like fill in the gaps and kind of go with where people are now. And we also had 2 new people in the cast, so we got to kind of reopen up everything and see what else could come in and what else was unnecessary from the show that we had before, and to kind of edit and also put back together in a different way.
My name is Aoife Miskelly. I'm a Northern Irish soprano, and it's great to actually come back and do a piece for the second time. I don't think I've had that luxury quite yet, to revisit a role in the same language, in the same production, so that you can enhance your characterization and your interpretation of this particular piece. It is quite physical, so by the time each rehearsal day ends, you literally crawl into bed and you just feel your muscles go, the day is done. You feel like you've done a proper day's work on this production, and it's great to work with 2 people who are so skilled in their areas that can bring that together and demand of us more than what one would necessarily do on an opera stage. And it's a lovely team. It's a really great team effort.
My name is Sarah, and I am a mezzo-soprano. It's a really a young project, so we are all in the same energy. We all want to do the best. It's my first time with the American stage director, so very interesting, because they are building the show in the American way, like dancing one thing in one musical phrase, and that's really not French at all, so it's very interesting.
My name is Romain Pascal. I'm a tenor. This role of Lacouf is a pretty funny guy, a gambler. Yes, he tries to win money out of gambling, drinking, and so he had a big argument with his friend and enemy, Presto, and so we kill each other at the same time. You can see, it's in there. We have to be very sharp and focused all the time. We were all very excited because we are in La Monnaie, and it's very important for us young singers to have the opportunities to sing in such places, very renowned places. And so now we are doing the shows, really. So we have 6 shows in 4 days, and so it's going to be epic, I guess.
Organizations like the European Network of Opera Academies, who have facilitated this production here in Brussels, it's wonderful because we're making contacts, yet we're working in these places, and hopefully for some of us we might be asked back in the future, and that's ultimately what you want. It's definitely a boost to one's career to have the opportunity to sing or take part in these young artist programs that exist, because they can offer you potential future employment. It's wonderful to to become known in a less pressurized environment and to kind of prove what you can do, that you're a reliable performer, that you're a good colleague to work with, good musician, dedicated.
Aldborough was magical because, that's where this version of the piece came alive. I'm a huge Britten fan. My thesis in grad school was on Billy Budd, so just even walking around the streets was miraculous, right? Aix-en-Provence is a completely romantic place. And then being here at La Monnaie is sort of a great marriage of the two because there's such a historic presence in this theater. But the venue itself is very sleek and modern, and so our piece sort of sits in it like an installation. And I think being able to investigate a piece, go away, reinvestigate it, go away, and reinvestigate it is it's like money in the bank.
One thing I think Enoa is really vital for is connecting all of these young artist programs around, and I think that there has been a real exchange of ideas in this process, and dialogue is so important in our art form, and in a way, because we're such a rarefied form, I hate to say that, but because we're not like film where masses of people will see the work, because there's a small group of people, I think anything that facilitates more dialogue is really useful. Yeah, because otherwise I think we all get stuck in our little corners. So for me, that Enoa has been a really great way of opening up channels, and not just for us. I think that for everyone involved in the projects, the singers, the stage managers, that everyone has had that experience of widening their set of experience, and so I think that has been really useful.
And it's important to happen kind of in every direction, but I think especially between young artists, and I think that's also what's been really exciting, is to work with young people, who are game and excited and eager and pretty open. And that is a wonderful experience, and I hope that that kind of thing continues, because it's the road that I think opera needs to go down.
It does feel like we've done this production in 3 very different places. Jubilee Hall, tiny on the seafront at Aldborough on the Suffolk coast in November with the waves crashing on the beach, and then Aix, the south of France, just beautiful and balmy weather. And here we're in Brussels in January, and the weather's not that great outside, but it's the capital city. It's very exciting. And so now we're mounting Les Mamelles here, and there's a very, very competent technical team here who've just swarmed around us and done everything to make it happen. And you can really feel like you're part of the main opera house, which is literally 3 steps across the road. And it's exciting to see if this will go anywhere next, actually. I hope that the audience will love this piece because it has so much joie de vivre about it and all that young energy. It's exciting, it never stops. It's a whirlwind of 55 minutes.
The young singers were fantastic. They were so lively and sharp and brilliant with it, witty.
moments when they all sing together is just it's really, really wonderful. Really, just the sound is fantastic, and she manages to sing. We hear her above them all, and the piano all discordant, and everything is fantastic. Really good.
I saw a very nice, lively spectacle. I saw something where people enjoy making music, enjoy living the text, enjoy producing their own joy on stage and communicating. And it gives young people the opportunity to be alive on stage, to be vivid, to follow very quickly the demands of a director, stage director. I think it's a very, very nice thing to do. It's a very nice piece.